Have you seen this front office work? Yeah, there are times, Jason, that it's frustrating watching them work, and then there's other times where they've made some moves that have made sense. So I don't think you could kind of really predict the front office for the Lakers. I think they're a little bit all over the place, to be honest with you. I think there's some times where you could compliment them, and other times you're like, I'm not sure what they're doing. Austin is going to get $30 million a year, whether Lakers pay him or not. If idea is to trade him, trade to a team on the second apron because they're desperate to drop salary. Nas and Na from Minnesota, for example. Nikhil Alexander Walker. I was just reading an article this morning that they're not going to be able to afford him. The Minnesota Timberwolves will not be able to afford. They'll probably bring back Julius Randle and they'll bring back Naz Reid, but they won't bring back Nikhil Alexander Walker, which, by the way, makes sense. The other two players are more of an asset. All right, let me see a couple more here. Got to keep Rui. If you trade Reaves, unless it's an all-star center, you need Rui's offense, and he's not bad defending the top five. Rui's an interesting guy too because he's on the final year of his contract as well. This is it for Rui Hachimura. He got paid well, $17 million a year. I thought that contract was very. He got more money than Austin Reaves, and he's definitely not asked to do more than Austin Reaves. Reaves has been much more consistent than he has. All right, let's get a couple more in here. Rui should be traded as well. We don't talk enough about him. If AR is a trade chip, D'Lo went, he can be too. Honestly, I don't think anybody is really holding their breath on Rui. I like Rui, but Rui is also an inconsistent player. Not really sure what we're going to get every single night. I think that's going to, obviously depend on a lot of different factors. But I don't think they're holding on to Rui if there's a trade that they like out there. I don't think that's going to be happening. Okay, let's keep things moving here. That was a little bit on the Austin Reaves piece. If you guys got some thoughts or comments, feel free to throw it in there. And Rui is, Rui's safe. I don't, definitely not safe. There was an article out there as well that talked a little bit about some veterans in the NBA that the Lakers should be targeting. Some vets out there that the Lakers should be targeting. I thought it was interesting, and we'll see. I think sometimes deals that you make, you got to look at other teams out there. Where are they? And are they in a position where they're not interested in winning? They just want draft capital. And if they could find a way to get some players that are on expiring contracts. But here's some names that were thrown out there, some vets that I think, listen, if they're healthy, they could potentially play a role on the Lakers. Chris Middleton's name came up. Jeremy Grant came up. Here's the problem with Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant still has value in the league, and Jeremy Grant is kind of interesting with him. He's been rumored for years now, and he's kind of continued with the Portland Trailblazers. Here's an interesting name that I thought was interesting out there. Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart now still part of the Wizards, I believe. So, again, these are teams that have players and really have no interest in keeping these guys, I don't think. I mean, we'll see what the Wizards end up doing, but that's not a franchise that feels like they're winning or they have any interest in winning. And then the other veteran that they had on there was Brook Lopez. And Lakers, obviously, we know Brook Lopez is kind of one of the names that have been rumored around the Lakers. And not just the Lakers. I think Golden State was taking a look at him. There's some other teams that are going to be interested in him as well. So, again, if Lakers are to acquire a guy like Chris Middleton, they're going to have to trade for him. If they're going to acquire a guy like Marcus Smart, they're going to have to trade for him. The one thing I like with players like that, they got a lot of playoff experience, championship experience, and they've been in the league for a long time. So some other names to kind of keep in mind, and I'm sure there's going to be some veteran teams out there as well that have I think there's going to be some veteran guys as well that are out there, or veteran teams as well that want to teams that are competing for a championship that want veteran players like that. All right, let's see what we got here. Brook is 37. His offense fell off a cliff this postseason. He's a free agent. Steven Adams Capella could be signed for the taxpayer mid-level exception. One of the things that I kind of take away here, can I just say this real quick on this comment? Kessler and Sexton's our best bet because they are free agents for 2026. The problem with these, some of these players that are on the Utah Jazz is I think it's really tough to do a deal with Danny Ainge. I think it's really tough to do a deal to try to acquire anybody. I guess Danny Ainge is just kind of more known as a front office executive that talks a lot but doesn't actually make moves. Okay, with all that in mind, obviously those are a few things on the Lakers and some Laker angles there and some players they could potentially go after. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.